Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and on today's special episode, I'm talking to Brooke Becker and Delaney Sharpe, the minds behind Black Ribbon Productions, whose new horror anthology series, The Veil, just premiered on YouTube with its first episode, Roadkill, now playing. Welcome to the show, Brooke and Delaney.
Thanks for having us.
Hi.
So, tell me a little bit more about Black Ribbon Productions. This is a new production studio for you guys, just brand new, just came out.
Yeah, this is so we've been working on this production company and on this production specifically for almost a year now. We Delaney and I have known each other for, many years, and we decided to create this company together, and we've bonded over our shared love of everything creepy. And so, yeah, we've spent about the last 11 months or so setting the groundwork for this company. And we filmed The Veil, which is our first episode. I don't know, I would say like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit sooner than that. Time is not real when you are making films.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
just say that. So,
No, that's great. That's great. Like this is one of the interesting things about horror. It like for me, especially, I think that women in the industry we need more of that because it's. I mean, just like most of film, it's been male dominated for so long, and that we need more of those unique voices in the space, especially in horror. And I love that horror is one of those areas that can be um a space where women and other things other than the straight white men can flourish, and that's awesome that you guys have started this out. And I saw Roadkill. It's very good. I enjoyed it a lot. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, we were just in an interview, and Delaney said that somebody asked what our favorite horror films are, and Delaney said to me, "Is these are all directed by men,
You're
know?" And,
I was like,
I
"Did you
said
speak
they mostly
poorly?"
are.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just
Sadly,
the math.
yeah. Sadly,
And I mean,
it's definitely an underrepresented field for sure. I think just film in general is very underrepresented, like for women and people of color and everything else. Is
Yeah.
just it's weird, especially because horror. There are moments where horror there women do horror and do it well. I'm thinking of somebody like Karen Kusama, who did Jennifer's Body,
yeah.
Nia DaCosta, who did the most recent Candyman movie. Those movies are fabulous, and we need more of that kind of work in here rather than just the same old, of course. But
Yeah. I'm even you just saying Nia DaCosta, super inspired by her, loved Bone Temple. I
oh
think
man,
we I think we just want to see ourselves and the things that we want to create, and then also we want to build up this company to be something that we can lift up others.
yeah.
So it's not just about like, I mean, we have art and ideas that we want to put out into the world, and then also we want to bring up the people around us and get their stories told also.
Yeah, that's
So that
awesome.
was a big motivator for Black Ribbon, of just
Yeah.
people tell you to do it yourself, and we're doing it ourselves, but we also want to be doing it for other people too.
Right.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. And especially in this, in this age right now where you can do that, filmmaking has become very democratized in a way. It's so much more affordable to do. And and the distribution channels are a little bit more wide open. And that, especially with more and more people going the digital route, and watching a lot more YouTube and stuff like that, that watching on their small devices, that it's perfect for that right now. And I mean, literally, we saw that this year with Obsession and Backrooms taking off
Absolutely.
from two guys who started out on YouTube. I mean, it's exactly the same thing with just we need more women doing it now. So
It's I I think it's been a little crazy for us, given that we have been working on this for about the last year or so, that we've had this in the works and haven't come public with it until like a week ago. So we've been watching all of this happen, going, wait for us, we're almost there. Like we're getting ready for you. We're excited that this is happening, but
yeah.
we're working on it too.
No, that's awesome, and I love that I think honestly, even though you came out just this last week, I think it's perfect because it's well timed. It's a great time to kind of ride that wave of that kind of attention, and then have it come back on you guys, especially because again, we just need more of that. Um,
Yeah.
so besides the veil, you guys have quite a bit coming out. What else what else can you tell us about what you guys have coming out?
Um, well, Delaney, you can go into emergence, but I recently did a horror sci-fi short that was a proof of concept called Thin Air that just this week premiered at LA Shorts, and we're going to Night Frights in October, which we're very excited about. So that happened before we technically were a production company. So we, that was made with a different production company, but um, that's something that I'm really proud of and has introduced us to a lot of filmmakers that we're hoping to work with in the future. And then we are also working on Emergence, which I'll let Delaney talk about.
Yeah, so in addition to our YouTube channel and our original projects, we're also producing for other filmmakers. So Ambar Martinez is an actress and writer. You might know her from The Pit or 911. She's fantastic. She has created a sci-fi short called Emergence that's tackling themes of AI and healthcare.
Okay.
And her husband and creative partner, Jeff Miller, he's directing. So we've wrapped up crowdfunding for them like a month ago,
Okay.
well exceeded their goal using Seed and Spark, which is awesome. And so we're headed into pre-production, looking to go into production in, I almost said in September, but that's just next month. We're headed into production next
Yeah.
month.
But
um,
yeah. Oh, sorry.
yeah, so in addition to our own channel, we're producing for other people as well. And then I'll speak on Brooke's behalf. She, in addition to filmmaking, has a background in social media management.
Okay.
So we also are looking to do some more like social media commercial work and kind of blending our genre backgrounds into more commercial things as well.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sorry, my light just went off there. Technology. What are you gonna
Right.
do?
I
But
Yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
I was gonna say we also, something that is also currently in the works is a digital campaign about the treatment of a woman who has endometriosis in the 1400s, and it's a horror, it's a medieval horror piece, and that's something that's also important to me as somebody who has endometriosis. A lot of people that I know also have it, and so again, just using this platform in the horror community to uplift women and shine a light on some of those issues that can affect people with uteruses. So
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's really a unique idea. I thought that, seeing the list of those that I was given about that, I was like, that seems really fascinating. And I think that's what's really good about um having women like you in the field and everything, is just that we get stories that we're not going to get, and perspectives we're not getting in film, in horror, in anywhere else. And takes that can be done, focusing on experiences that men just don't have. I mean, we can't really make a story about endometriosis and make, without the input of women to begin with. And it's like, well, why don't you just have women do that? So that makes more sense to do that. And I love that. I love that you guys are doing stuff like this. Um, and you guys are both actresses as well, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
we
we both
actually
come from
met in
acting
acting class.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was years ago at this point, and we're still here, guys. We're still acting.
Well, and I think that's really good because you guys are making your own projects. You're like, you while sure you guys, audition and do these other jobs and everything, you guys are making your own things happen as well. And especially in an industry like this, that it's definitely a major plus. So,
Yeah, I think even from the business perspective aside, I think it's just so important to be creative
mhm,
and not wait for someone else to give you the opportunity to
right.
express your creativity. You can't just sit around waiting for someone to give you the go ahead to make your art. You just have to get that out
Right.
however you can.
Exactly. And the our team are the people that you want to be doing that with, especially when it's like very cold out and it's 3 a.m. And we just have such a fun team and we have so much fun making things together. And
Right.
so I think that's a big motivator for us as well.
Oh yeah. No, and horror has always seemed like, when it's a passionate thing for you, horror just seems like it makes for the most wonderful of um filmmaking families. So I think
The
that
trauma bonding.
right, right. So yeah, let's get to kind of know you guys a little bit. You mentioned this before, you talked about this in another interview, but what are your favorite horror movies, or what are the horror movies that inspire you to go into this?
Yeah, I can start. I actually came from a very religious background. It was very strict. We weren't allowed to really watch any movies in general that weren't Disney or VeggieTales. So imagine my surprise when I found out there was a whole other world of cinema out there. And but despite that, my mom was always like, I don't know where you came from because she can't handle anything scary. My dad also wasn't into anything scary. So I grew up, making up and telling scary stories to other kids on the playground and at church, and their parents were very upset because they were having nightmares, and my mom got some angry calls, and she's like, "Why are you telling people all these scary stories?" I'm like, "Because it's so fun." So when I was, older and I started going to see more movies and exploring what was out there, um, one of the first movies that really made an impression on me was The Conjuring. I was in high school when I saw that, and I think that really was the first movie that really scared me. And I loved being scared and like thrilled. And that really delivered. And it wasn't just that, it was also that that movie was so character driven and so world driven. And it had such an interesting aesthetic, and it was just a combination of a lot of things that I loved. But The Conjuring definitely was one. Um, Sinister, I love Sinister as well. I tried to go see that on a first date, and my blind date was too scared by Sinister the first 5 minutes, and we had to leave.
Wow,
So I had to come back and see it myself later. So,
that's so funny.
anyways, maybe more than you asked for,
No,
but
no, that was great.
Yeah, similarly, I mean, I know there are some people who like grew up watching really terribly scary movies. I did not have that experience. My parents are both major film lovers, but not super into horror. But I was a total like fantasy kid.
Mm,
I was very into fantasy books, movies. Similarly to Brooke, I got in trouble from like sharing a story about a harpy, and some kids had nightmares. similar things, that just that nature of telling stories about like what's outside of our normal reality. And then I started to get really into sci-fi with my dad and I watching like X-Files, Battlestar Galactica.
Mm.
And then I started with reading Stephen King books, also at the recommendation of my dad. He wanted me to start with Carrie, the first book, and go in order so that I could observe his evolution as a writer,
Mm.
because that's the type of person my dad is. And then that led to watching The Shining, which remains one of my favorite horror movies.
Okay.
That's one that I go to time and time again. Um, I also like to say one of my favorites is Silence of the Lambs. I know some people argue that it's more psychological thriller. I think it's squarely both. I think
Yeah,
it's psych
it
thriller
works
and
for
psych
both.
horror.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Um, and then I really did, as I think young adulthood really started to get more into horror. Get Out and Hereditary were
Mm.
two more like contemporary ones that really, those were ones that inspired me to want to make horror. That was like what transitioned from I love it and I enjoy watching it to I want to be making this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. No, I love that. Yeah. No, I like for me, like I it's so funny to hear other people's stories because like I watched horror as a kid. My parents were fairly like loose with everything and I didn't and I grew up in the heyday of the 80s like slasher boom. So
Yeah.
so I did get to see all the Freddys and the Jasons during that time period.
Yeah.
So it was great, but wouldn't say I became a really big horror fan until like 2018, which is, as my listeners have heard me talk about numerous times, was just right whenever I finally fully embraced the genre. Because again, I had enjoyed lots of stuff. I really had enjoyed the Scream franchise and everything else. So it just it's so funny to hear other people's stories, including yours, just to see like how limited it was. But it sounds like at the very least, like once both of you became adults or older teens, that transition happened pretty rapidly.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like for both of us, we got bit by the bug and then
Yeah.
really went in for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Tim Burton
Oh
fan.
yeah.
When I went into high school. And Tim Burton, I wouldn't say is like a horror
He's like
filmmaker, but there's a
gateway
lot of horror
horror.
elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a whimsical. I feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, both Delaney and I are very whimsical people at heart, I feel. But yeah, I that was like my soft kind of
Yeah.
introduction into, Sweeney Todd.
Sleepy
I'm a
Hollow. Yeah.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow, exactly.
I love
And so that
Sleepy
was kind
Hollow.
of
That's
my
probably
first.
my favorite of his. So
I am a huge fan of Sleepy Hollow. In third grade, my friend told me that in that movie they killed the actors for real. They cut off their heads for real, and I fully believed her. And I believed that for longer than I should admit. Um, and yeah, she was like, yeah, they paid them beforehand and they cut off their heads, and it's in the movie. It's for real. And I was
wow.
like, oh my gosh. So yes, when I finally watched it and realized that's not what was happening, that was okay. But yeah, love that movie.
um what genre of horror is your favorite, do you think? Because there's so many flavors.
Yes. Yes. I think for me, definitely psychological is my number one. I like a psychological horror. And then like a gothic horror, like, like a Nosferatu, I loved. Anything that leans more Victorian. Yeah, I would say
Okay.
psych and gothic.
All right.
I think Delaney and I are very aligned in
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm a huge gothic horror person. In college, I studied Victorian literature,
Mm.
and I wrote my thesis on the Gothic and the Sublime, which are two qualities of Victorian literature that I still find really interesting. You see that a lot in like Frankenstein, So yeah, I think we're both very aligned on that. I would say psychological horror and gothic horror as well.
All right.
I
Yeah.
respect a slasher. Don't get me wrong. I respect it. It's
Yes.
just not my go-to.
Yeah, good body horror every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that
We've had a
brings
good like
no.
renaissance of body horror.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
We've
We're
been in
getting.
a good place for body horror.
Yeah. Yeah. Like with the substance, like that's just like
Yeah,
that's peak. So
Love this.
absolutely.
the substance is perfect. Um. So that being said, what is a horror movie or a horror genre that you just really don't like, that you don't really dig into?
Ooh, I've never been asked that. It's a good question.
Thank you.
Let me see. I have to think about that. One that I don't like. You know, I think there have been a couple movies that I saw when I was younger and I went, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And then you watch it as like an adultier adult and you think, "Oh my gosh, that was a little rough." I think one of those for me, interestingly enough, even though it is a gothic horror, is Woman in Black,
Mm,
the one with Daniel
Daniel Radcliffe.
Radcliffe. And
Yeah.
I remember, yeah, when I first watched that, I was super into it. I think I was, maybe like 10th grade. And I rewatched it a few years ago and I went, oh, this is a lot sillier than I remember. It's funny how you
Right.
misremember things. But I'm a big fan of the book. I have a signed copy of the book on my bookshelf. So in any case, I think that's probably one that it's not that it's a bad film.
Right.
It's just I think I just outgrew it a little bit.
I get that.
Yeah, it's tough. This might be kind of a cop-outy answer, but there's a certain subsect of horror that I think just leans too far into like I hate to say like a torture porn type,
Hmm.
like really super violent, gratuitous.
Right.
I love gore. I'm all about it, but there's some things on the outskirts that I think are just too hard to stomach that
Yeah.
I'm
Some
not
of
gonna
the
have a
stuff
fun
that's
time watching it.
yeah, some of the stuff that leans a
Yeah.
little bit more misogynistic, and yeah.
Yeah, just some of the stuff that's a little too tortury.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Like one of my favorite franchise in horror is the Evil Dead series. And those are full on like gore, you know, everywhere. But they
Yeah,
don't typically. There's moments. We'll admit there's moments here and there in them that get a little bit weird. But for the most part, it's a very really good use of the gore and the horror. So
absolutely. I love the Evil Dead series. I just saw Evil Dead Burns like a week ago, week and a half
yeah,
ago. And the thing I love about Evil Dead is and I feel like normally I don't enjoy this, but there's not that much logic to the Deadites.
right,
The Deadites are just Deadites. And
right,
like you can do something and maybe it's going to kill it, maybe it's not.
yeah,
Who knows? Just the Deadites are this like individual, like there's nothing else like that in horror. Like they are their own thing that is separate from reason. And
right.
that's what makes those movies so fun.
Oh, I
Super gory,
totally agree.
nothing to explain it. It's great. They're so fun.
I think it's funny because they do have there is a small internal logic with them. It's just it's even something I missed. Because there's something about the new movie. I don't want to spoil it. Um, but there's something about the new movie that you go, wait, how did that happen? But apparently it's something that they actually do lay out in Evil Dead Rise. And since this is like a
Oh,
direct
really?
sequel to it, yeah, we can talk off air. But
Interesting.
yeah,
There's something about it with like with each movie. It's like
yeah.
you never really, you never really beat them. Like you're
No,
not
you
beating
never
the
do.
Deadites.
No, they
There's no final like you've
no.
destroyed them. They
Yeah.
always kind of win, and I think that's fun.
Yeah, same. I agree.
I
Uh
love that.
um so oh man, I had a question I totally forgot. Um completely
It's all
blanked.
good. That's the story of my life.
Well, so it's funny. I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare because I just got asked about this yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, can you do it tomorrow night?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I was like, "Okay, I got to work," so I didn't have any time to really prepare stuff. So I'm kind of going off the
All
seat of my
good.
pants like usual. So
We're all going by the seat of our pants tonight. We're
right,
good.
right. um, what is a what is a horror type of movie that you would like? I mean, obviously, Gothic is both of your favorites and stuff like that. Is that something you guys would want to do, either make or be in?
Yeah, the film that I did before this, Thin Air, that was a Victorian time travel
Oh,
horror
all
piece.
right.
And that's a proof of concept for a show that I'm currently pitching. And it's about the Gilded Age, and it's also set in present day, and it's about, how one person's actions, way back when in history has effects on people today. And it's about like legacy and fate and all of those things. But yeah, so and the short film we filmed out in Riverside, and that was in an old historic mansion. And it was such a cool experience. And Delaney did production design. And by the way, everyone has been commenting on the production design and how amazing it is. Truly, we every screening, people are like, "Oh my gosh, the production design is incredible." So she did an amazing job.
That's
The
awesome.
house pulled a lot of its weight, so.
It did, but also a lot of it was Delaney.
No, that's awesome that you guys like have hands in so many different aspects of all of these. So it definitely um, that definitely lends a lot to it as well. Will a lot of these projects show up on the YouTube channel eventually?
Potentially. Thin Air is still doing a festival run. We just premiered at LA Shorts and we're going to Night Frights. And so it won't be, we still have a minute before we know what we're gonna, where that's gonna
Right.
land. Um, we would like at some point to start featuring other creators and other things. We've had conversations about that, but we haven't put out anything yet that we're planning to feature other than the episodes that we're creating.
All right. All right. How often will episodes of The Veil be coming out?
Oh, so I'll let you take this one, Delaney.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so chapters 2 and 3 are already finished with post production. We haven't set the exact date just yet because
Oh,
we're still trying to give Roadkill some time to
right.
get out to the masses, but probably no more than like a couple of weeks for chapter 2, and then probably as similarly a couple weeks later, chapter 3 will come out. And it is an anthology, but they are interconnected stories.
Okay.
So as those pieces come together, you'll be able to see some of those tie-ins. They are all in the same world. You'll see some snippets of characters coming back, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
So we
interconnected
want
stuff.
we want each chapter to just totally stand on its own, and you can
Right.
watch a 2.5 minute, and that is a complete story full of scares. But if you keep coming back for more, you'll start to see those little pieces come together.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm excited. Like I said, I watched Roadkill. I thought it was really good. I'm excited to see what else you guys have coming out. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I can't. I'm completely blanking. But is there anything else you would like to tell us about Black Ribbon Productions yourselves? Anything else?
Sure. Um, I mean, I can kind of talk about how, again, I know we touched on this in the beginning, but we do want the company to be a place where underrepresented voices can be heard. And like, we really want to partner with filmmakers who are telling their own stories instead of us just trying to tell those stories for them. So we're currently taking on, additional projects, and that's, we knew from the beginning that if we wanted longevity for the channel, because, it's not inexpensive to produce something, for
Right.
something that looks great.
Right.
And so we knew that we needed, sustainable income to funnel back into that channel so that we could continue to do work to the level that we wanted. And so in taking on client projects and helping them tell their stories, we're using part of those funds to go back into our own channel. And so that's kind of how we started our business model. And yeah, so but both of those things are really just about helping people, tell their stories in the horror, sci-fi, and alternative world. And we also really want to start working with brands, um, and doing more narrative based commercial work.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That does bring up a question. Then, are you actively um, searching for people and trying to gather people into the fold, or are you accepting pitches from people? What is kind of the business model for that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, we are working with a couple of client projects. We want to work with projects and filmmakers that are aligned with us. And
Right.
so we're always happy to chat with people and just see if, what we're doing and our services are right for them and their projects. And we're really looking for compelling stories and people who are, just as driven and excited about making those projects.
That's great.
I think it plays into that conversation about like everyone's being told to go out and make it themselves. There are a lot of actors out there and writers who have ideas and they want to make something, but they don't necessarily have the infrastructure to put it together.
Right.
Because it's all well and good to say go out and make it, but if you don't have the crew, if you don't know how to get an insurance policy and file permits,
Right.
and there's more to it than just grab your iPhone. So
Yeah.
we really want to be a resource for people who have a story that they want to tell but maybe don't have the setup.
Right.
We can help produce things for you. We can be part of the not as creative aspect of things so that
Right.
you can focus on your script, on your performance. We'll handle more of the paperwork stuff.
That's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, I think that, in this age, like with like I said, with a lot of people being able to put stuff on YouTube, and there's a lot of filmmakers who go the crowdfunding route.
Yeah.
There are a lot of avenues for that, but it's nice to have a production company like yours that will be kind of, championing those who aren't getting their voices out there. Because again, crowdfunding kind of depends on familiarity. I mean, you kind of have to already know the filmmakers to, want to put in for that. Um, and so,
Yeah,
it's, I think this
absolutely.
is
Even
perfect.
you
Sorry, go ahead.
even you just mentioning crowdfunding, the clients that we're working with now, we helped them through the crowdfunding process, a 30-day campaign. And it's people underestimate what that process is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
takes a lot of prep. It's honestly very emotionally taxing. Um, it's not as easy as one might think. So to have someone come in and say, "We've done this before. Here's some guidance on how to do that,"
Yeah.
I think it can definitely make or maybe not make or break, but it could make or break whether or not it's a successful campaign. Because especially with platforms like Seed and Spark, if you're not hitting that green light,
Yeah.
you don't get any of the money. Even if you raised a couple of $1,000s, if you're not hitting your goal, you don't see a penny of that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so we want to be there as a resource. Yeah, and the last campaign that we did, it was awesome. They raised, I think, over $1,000, past their goal,
Yeah.
and we were, what was it? We were a Seed and Spark staff pick as well.
Hmm.
And it's not because, we're magical or anything. It's just about having the framework
Right.
and the, eye for the design, and making sure that everything is exactly, making sure that the filmmakers themselves are prepped on what that process is going to be like, and that's huge.
Well, yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
helps having somebody like yourselves who can um, put that know-how into it to give them that just that little extra step up that they might not be able to do, um, and just to help guide them, because then the next crowdfunding thing they do, then they could do it themselves, because now they will have that knowledge and that kind of background that you were able to give them. So
Exactly. And they did amazing. I mean, their
yeah.
story, we were drawn to the story from the beginning. And so it was just about taking what they already had that was amazing and making it easy for people to want to give money to.
Right. No, that's awesome. I think that's all I have. I appreciate you guys both coming on. This was fantastic. I hope you guys do really well. Like I said, the Veil, that first episode, Roadkill, is fantastic. Well done already, and I can't wait to see what else you guys have coming up.
Thank you. It's going to be very, very scary, and it's going to be very unique. So keep an eye out for chapter 2.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope we can get you on again in the future for whatever else you guys might be putting out. So,
Awesome.
That
Thanks
sounds
for having us
awesome.
on.
yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on TeePublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.